YouTube. Back at you again with another video. So today, clearly you can see what we're installing today. It's gonna be some ASV shorty levers. I did order some from China off of eBay. They feel terrible. The clutch lever, as I'm riding down the street, bounces. They didn't send any washers or spacers to hold the clutch lever in place. Also the same thing with the brake side. Let me give you a closer look as to what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the clutch side, and I'm going to try to show you this as best as I can. If you look at this, it shakes. This cannot go any tighter because of the frame of this bracket. It won't go any tighter. But I try to use washers, like my own washers. I went to Home Depot and Lowe's, try to find some washers to put in between the two. And if I put a washer, any millimeter washer, what'll happen is it won't disengage or engage the clutch. So I didn't know what to do. So I said, all right, you know what? I reached out to the guy on eBay and said, hey, look, I ordered some levers from you and it's not working with my bike. And that was the last time I heard from him. This guy's in, again, he's in China. And if you have a Honda CBR650R, I would recommend that you don't order it from them. They don't fit. Same thing with this side. Like, it moves. I don't know if you can see that, but it moves. So when you're riding, this whole thing is just bouncing as you're riding, and it feels unstable too. But they were cheap. It was like $30, $32. And it took about 3.5 weeks to get here. So again, I don't recommend you buying these levers, and they're the ones that flip up. This part can extend out. It says Honda CBR on the actual lever. 650R, but they just don't work. So today we're going to install some F3 series ABS shorty levers. They say shorty, but they look pretty big, so I don't know if they're actually shorty levers. It doesn't say it nowhere on this packaging. But before I open it, I'm going to verify to make sure. And if it doesn't say that, I'll call and have these replaced. All right. To do this is very, very simple. I don't even think I want to record the install process, but all you have to do is just loosen this, pull this out. It'll come straight through. You're going to pull it through here, down and out. On the bottom, this nut here is an 8, and up top is a flathead. With the brake side, is a whole lot simpler, sorta. You need to loosen this. You need to loosen this, turn these two upward. Then he's gonna give you access to that bolt right there. And on the bottom is an 8mm. They look clean, boy. They clean, boy. All right, so once you loosen these two, tilt them up. It's gonna give you access to that one, which is right there. First, I'm gonna grab my 8mm. I'm gonna take off it's a 10. This is an 8, this is a 10. Okay, so let me grab a 10 real quick. All right, let's take this off. All right, so now I know I got this in my hand. Put it on the seat. The next part is to take this off. So take it all the way out. All right, once you pull that off, this should just slide right on out of there. Waste. All right, so the good thing now about these here is this: seal bearings on pivot. This doesn't have anything, so it's basically relying on this nut to pivot, where this has a bearing inside for the pivot. So let me take out of the box and show you what I mean. Man, just looking at this fit and finish and quality, the whole thing feels solid in my hand. But here, this is a seal bearing. So this basically turns on this nut as you pull and release the brake lever. And for adjustment, you just spin this. Wow, man. And it comes pre-tightened down and everything. Jeez. I have forward release. Yeah, so to put it back on, it's pretty much the opposite. Wow, this is a shorty lever. All right, so let me put it all back together. I think I'm gonna need 2 hands because it needs to stay in place. What I'm looking for is that hole right there, and I don't think it's gonna cooperate. Yeah, it's not gonna cooperate. It's already fighting me. I must say, wow, what a difference putting these on a bike. I like the fact that it can go backwards in case if I'm riding and I need to, move it out of the way to get my fingers over. I need to get used to stopping with 2 fingers, but we'll see. The feel of the lever now feels so much different compared to the other one. It's small and rounded here, which is important for me at least, because the ones that are flat, like the original ones or this one where it's completely flat, when it comes to grabbing it feels awkward to the hand. But yeah, as you can see, this one's flat across and this one has a more rounded finish. This one feels better to the touch. All right, that's enough with the brake side. Let's talk about this clutch side. So for the clutch side, same thing. You need a 10 millimeter. You have to take off the bottom bolt. So let me turn the wheel. That bottom bolt is right here. So you're gonna loosen it. You don't have to loosen the clutch cable down at the case. You only have to loosen it up here at the top. But there is a certain amount of play that the cable requires, and I'll show you how to get that play adjusted. If you've never done this before. I'm just trying to get this 10 millimeter bolt off. Here it is. So now that I got it off, I need a flathead for this guy. Okay, and then I would recommend you use that same flathead to break this loose. Let me turn the wheel back. But you want to go back. Okay, so it was like this. I use the flathead, pop it back, and then once I have this loose, I just twist it all the way back to that nut, and I turn the original one back in. But remember, you have to have this line in order for the cable to slide through. So the line needs to line up with this point. So let me see if I can show you. Like that. And then what I normally do is, since it's already off, I just leave it like that. And now I got this off. Trash. So now let's open up the clutch side. By the way, on their website, they were on clearance. I don't know if they're still on clearance now, but I bought them during Black Friday, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, 80 bucks, 90 bucks, something like that. And here's the clutch side. Oh man, the quality, the way these things are built, it feels so okay, 2 things. They feel light in the hand, feel like the OE. But the fit and finish, man, there's just nothing like it. You know, when I put the China ones on, I didn't know what this was for. But if you look at the bike, there's a sensor here that you have to watch out for when you're putting this on your bike. I almost broke this when I put the Chinese ones on because I was pushing up against it this way and I could have broke it. I was pushing up against it this way and it could have broke. But I realized afterwards, like, man, why isn't it going on? Why am I fighting with it so much? And I realized, oh, it's because this was in the way. So when you're putting your levers on this bike, just look out for this little sensor here. Very important. It's I think it's a kill switch for the starter, if I'm not mistaken. It keeps the bike from starting, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so I need 2 hands to put this on because I got to feed the cable through, obviously, and then I got to put this back on with the screw. All right, guys, so I'm pretty much done. Same thing you're doing on the brake side, you're doing the clutch side. Just remember that for me, the easiest way to do this is to bring this forward. Yeah, bring this part forward, loosen this first, and the whole thing will slide out. Put the new one in, slide this whole thing back together, and then re-tighten this part. To me, I found it easier to do it that way. Some people say, no, you're crazy. Take this part off first, then this part, whatever, to each his own. For me, it's easier if I take this part off first, then slide the lever out, take it out of the little compartment, put the new one back on, slide it back in, and then put this part back, then tighten this back on. To me, it's a lot easier that way. You don't have to follow the way I did it. You know, your bike, your rules, right? But I'm pretty much done. And if you look, there is no up and down play. It's in there nice and tight. No up and down play. But when I did get it, this part was all the way out to about right here. I was like, what the hell? So I had to adjust this to bring it back in. And for me, where it cannot go no more is a nice grab for me. And I want to say that I have been riding with these ABC at a local park. And when I tell you, there's a great difference as to how they feel on the bike, man, you wouldn't believe me. But I really enjoy how these levers feel. Like I said in the video, they kind of curve to the glove, and they feel real nice. I've been out here practicing for quite some time, and these levers I highly recommend it if you have a Honda CBR650R. If I'm not mistaken though, they also go on the Honda CBR650R. They're the same exact thing. So yeah, and I ordered them directly from the ABS. All right, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful